All right, here we are, Wednesday, January 31st. Welcome to the last day of January. Thanks for joining me. Hey, I wanted to get this video out to you guys because there are some changes now finally that are showing up on the weather apps and on model guidances, and we're going to go into those changes most specifically in this video, and it would be right around the February 10th time frame. Okay, all right, here's your 500 millibar height anomalies, the departures from normals, and of course we've got this massive ridge that is in place over much of North America today. That's the reason why we're having these record highs here over Minnesota and Wisconsin, in fact much of the upper Midwest. Now watch what happens here as we go through time. That ridge sits in place not only into this weekend, which is right here, but even into much of next week. This is now Wednesday of next week, and you can still see this ridge in place. Now it has shifted a little bit further to the east. That is key, and probably more importantly, we showed you this in the last video on Monday, but here comes this massive trough now that is coming onto the west coast of the U.S. here as we get into Wednesday, and then finally as we get into Thursday and then Friday, which would be the 9th here of February. You can see it here. This trough comes in and it actually produces a storm system the way it appears over the central and northern sections of the U.S. So that would be our first opportunity the way it appears for significant precipitation. And what's really important here is not only that we're going to finally get a storm to move in, but look at what happens as we get into the middle of February. This is February 14th now and 15th. This is a pretty cold outlook here for probably the second half or so of February, where we're getting a trough over the central and eastern U.S. Usually with a trough like this, you'd get cold air pouring down from Canada. So we'll have to watch to see if that happens. That is the GFS computer model guidance, by the way. And here's also the GFS, and these are the low-level temperatures in our atmosphere at about 5,000 feet. And look at all this warm air, just incredible warmth for this time of the year over much of North America, especially east of the Rocky Mountains. That warm air stays in place even as we get into the middle of next week. But focus what's going on up here in western and central Canada. Here comes the cold air that's pooling up there, and it really comes south. If you believe the GFS, it comes south with a vengeance here as we get into the middle portions of February. So that would be our next opportunity to get some real serious winter here with temperatures that'll probably dip below zero, especially if we can get some snowpack here in the upper Midwest, Minnesota and Wisconsin. Here's your jet stream. This is the European computer model guidance now, and it just shows you perfectly that we have a split flow in the jet stream. This has been the case for quite a while now. Here's one branch of the jet moving north of Minnesota, and then the other one here traversing the southern sections of the United States. This split flow remains in place until about the Wednesday or Thursday of next week, and this is now late Thursday and into Friday morning of next week now. So we're talking about 8-9 days away here, so a long ways away. A lot will change, but it is important to note that we have a significant trough now moving into the central U.S. and a jet streak that moves from Oklahoma to about Chicago and Lake Michigan, and we would be in the left front quad of any jet streak that develops later next week. Of course, as you know, that's a perfect position for a storm, and that being in the left front quad of a jet streak continues even into Saturday. You can see it here. We would still be on the left front quad of a jet streak even as we head into next weekend. So there should be at least a few opportunities for precipitation here as we get into later next week and next weekend. One last thing, I'm just going to get to the low-level temperatures here from the European computer model guidance. Here they are. There's that warmth here over Minnesota and Wisconsin all the way through Monday and Tuesday of next week. But here it comes. This is the storm system that is developing now over the central and northern sections of the U.S. You can see a battle zone developing right over Minnesota here as we get into later Thursday and Friday, and then the cold air dump starts to take place as we get into Friday and Saturday of next week. So those are big changes. We're talking temperatures will be a good 20, 30 plus degrees below what they are today as we head into next weekend, the way it appears. But you don't see that here on the trigger graph because we're only going out 7 days here on the trigger graph. Temperatures will be well into the 40s, maybe even 50s here as we go through the next 7 days. Even the overnight lows are going to be near or above the normal highs for this time of the year. And quite frankly, no precipitation and hardly any wind, at least significant wind to talk about. It'll be a little breezy on Friday and Saturday, but overall, just not much happening in this tranquil environment. But that changes once we get past about Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. All right, that's all I have for you. Everybody have a great afternoon and evening. We'll send out a email update for you tomorrow.